A current WWE champion's contract is coming to an end, but first, are WWE set to hijack AEW's television deal? WWE are in the midst of broadcast negotiations for Monday Night Raw, with their current deal with the USA Network set to expire near the end of 2024. There's been reports that WWE are in talks with many networks regarding future rights, with Disney's FX, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and the USA Network all said to be in the running. Another network that looks to be in negotiations with WWE is Warner Bros. Discovery, who currently host All Elite Wrestling Television on TBS and TNT. Rumors that these talks had resumed began to swirl earlier this week when Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer would take to X to note, "Things are changing greatly. Let's just say that things changed greatly with Raw negotiations from a few weeks ago, and CM Punk is a huge part of that selling point." As we know, Warner and their current CEO and president, David Zaslav, are big admirers of CM Punk and would even commission a whole new show, AEW Collision, with the Second City Saints front and center of the programming. Punk himself would later joke that David calls him One Bill Phil, due to his importance to securing the new deal for AEW. As for the possibility of Warner and WWE joining forces, which would leave AEW without a network, Meltzer had previously reported that WBD rejected talks with WWE after they were approached by Nick Khan, though it seems that following the signing of CM Punk, their stance has changed, and he would reveal this on Wrestling Observer Radio. CM Punk opened up what may have been a shut door with WBD. How open that door is and what's going to transpire, I don't know. Punk, he's a significant player, and that's one of the reasons he's going to be at the house show in Los Angeles this week, because I'm sure that the people who they are courting, everyone's headquarters is in LA. Mike Johnson of PW Insider would later reveal that a meeting has taken place between WBD and WWE this week, something that's been backed up by many other wrestling journalists, and Johnson would take to PWInsider.com to reveal, PWInsider.com can confirm that this past Monday night, TKO's Mark Shapiro, as well as WWE's Nick Khan and Paul Levesque, were in NYC at the Warner Bros. Discovery headquarters, meeting with WBD executive Bruce Campbell about potentially moving Raw to the WBD family. Campbell holds the position of Chief Revenue and Strategy Officer. We're told that the WWE contingency met with Campbell for several hours Monday morning, with at least part of the meeting taking place in a conference room usually reserved for David Zaslav. Levesque was at Raw later that night in Cleveland. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has also provided his insight on X, noting that the people that would usually be in the loop on such information are either being kept in the dark or feel that the deal likely isn't happening, although he confirmed talks are ongoing, and he would say, "I've got zero confirmation on anything WWE WBD related, only speculation and chatter as of now. People from both sides that are normally in the loop are either out of the loop or don't think it's happening. People close to those of influence have heard chatter the other direction. Tony Khan said that AEW met with WBD on Tuesday. That's what I got. I've heard directly that Triple H was at Raw Monday, but there were WBD WWE conversations in recent weeks. It does not appear AEW was kept in the dark about that." One big factor that will likely affect Warner's interest in WWE Raw is if they retain the rights to the NBA, something that PW Insider noted was a major goal of theirs. With that said, David Zaslav has publicly stated that the company doesn't need the NBA. You'd imagine that if the NBA rights were to land elsewhere, this would lead to a huge chunk of Warner's budget being reallocated to another large franchise such as Monday Night Raw, something that would be a major blow to All Elite Wrestling, especially considering that they fired the guy that opened the door for talks between WWE and WBD in the first place. But let me know what you think about this whole Warner situation. Will they retain the rights of AEW or will they switch to WWE? And if they did, what impact would that have on AEW? Let me know in the comments down below. And before we continue, I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you don't mind, double check that you subscribe to the channel below, especially if you're a regular viewer of our news updates, as it would really mean a lot. As it stands, we're just over 3,000 away, so it's going to be a tough task, but I know from the analytics that a lot of people that watch the content haven't yet subbed, but do come back for more, so if you're one of them, I'd really appreciate you helping me out. But with that said, let's move on to the next story. And next up, CM Punk's future plans have been revealed. This past Monday night, CM Punk would officially sign with the Raw brand after entertaining offers from NXT and SmackDown. The Friday night prior, Punk would appear on the Blue brand before making a special appearance on Saturday's NXT Deadline pay-per-view, heading into the announcement on Raw. Whilst his on-screen decision has been made, Punk was in attendance at this past Tuesday's taping of NXT at the Performance Center, where he was seen watching matches with talent and providing feedback in the hours heading into the show, and he will also be seen at the PC the following day. According to Ibu of Wrestle Purist, the straight-edge superstar has a long-term goal of taking over the current role of Shawn Michaels, who is currently aged 58 and finds himself running NXT as the Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative, and Ibu would take to X to write, "Like I said on Saturday, CM Punk's long-term goal is to succeed Shawn Michaels in NXT. Was told he was buzzing last night, didn't sleep and flew to Orlando. He'll be doing a lot of observing tonight, seeing how things work over there in terms of TV production." The latter is something that Punk was seen doing during his time in developmental at OVW, where he would pick the brain of Paul Heyman to understand every aspect of what went into putting a show together. Fightful Select will also release a report on the situation, revealing that Punk has an open invitation to the Performance Center to help, although a role as the head of NXT is likely something that isn't going to happen anytime soon, as there's no plans for Michaels to wrap up his time in NXT just yet. And next is this former WWE World Champion set to sign for AEW. In September 2023, WWE would make a number of talent cuts across the main roster and NXT, with the likes of Elias and Matt Riddle now finding themselves on the free agency market. Another name that was let go that month was Dolph Ziggler, this off the back of a stint in NXT, where he became the NXT champion. Upon the news, many fans felt like of all the most recent releases, Ziggler was the most likely to make a jump to AEW, something that appears to be in the works. According to Wrestle Purist, creative pitches have been made for how the company could introduce the former WWE World Champion to screens, and they would post the following on X. According to sources in AEW, many within the company have been pushing for the signing of Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, and there have been multiple creative pitches made for him. One of the pitches included him being one of CJ Perry's clients. CJ Perry, the former Lana, has worked with Dolph Ziggler in the past, as they would become a pairing back in 2015, in opposition to Lana's real-life husband Rusev, the now Miro in AEW. Whether the duo actually realign or not remains to be seen, as it was only one of the pitches, although the fan reaction to the news suggests that continuing a bad WWE angle probably won't be the best of moves. It's not that Ziggler would be a bad signing for AEW, but perhaps he'd be better off in a different role on the card. And do you think AEW should sign Dolph Ziggler, and if they do, should they pair him up with CJ Perry? And if not, how would you book him? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, a current WWE Champion's contract is coming to an end. 2024 will see a number of major wrestling contracts come to an end across every top promotion in the world, something we'll be covering in much more detail in a soon-to-be-released video. One of the names to make that list is Seth Rollins, as his WWE contract has been expected to expire next year for quite some time, although we now have a specific time frame on when this will happen. According to a report from Fightful Select, the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion could become a free agent come June 2024 when his current deal comes to an end, and there is yet to be an offer made to keep him around, and the report notes, Fightful has learned that Rollins' deal expires in June of 2024, and as a couple of weeks ago, there haven't been discussions regarding a contract extension. As you can imagine by his placement on the card, Rollins is well liked and respected within the company, and we're told that there will obviously be an offer made at some point, with WWE sources even indicating that he'd be made a priority. When asking a WWE official, we were told we would not dispute that information as it pertains to his contract being up next year, and that Rollins would be made a priority. WWE re-signed numerous talents to new deals in 2019 when AEW launched, locking numerous into long-term 5-year deals that are up in 2024. We're unsure if Rollins was among those. Whilst the news has brought on talk that Seth could be looking to leave WWE in the near future, it's worth highlighting the fact that WWE will make his re-signing a priority in the coming months, although it's unclear if he would entertain offers from outside of WWE at this point. But do you think Seth Rollins will be in WWE come the start of 2025? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 masked AEW wrestlers unmasked.